what is NASCAR's plan for ARCA? You can only wonder. You know, the K&N Pro Series East and West do not have large car counts, nor do they have a big, long race schedule. So now what are you going to do? You're going to now throw ARCA into the mix and keep the title name, of course, I'm sure. Find a sponsor to flow more money into it, I'm sure, so they can, move it up and make some money. But I look at these things and I'm like, NASCAR needs to straighten out their own sanctioning body, in my opinion, before they go out and purchase ARCA. And what do I mean by that? At the highest levels, you're not getting full fields. And even back in the day when they were getting full fields, a handful of them were starting parks. For those who don't know what a starting park is, it's what they call a qualified driver who holds a cup license, gets in a car that's owned by a licensed NASCAR team owner, goes through the motions with qualifying and practice at a bare minimum, I might add, and then the green flag drops, they do 2 or 3 laps, they come down pit road, and when you look at the race report, it says reason out, vibration. It's a starting park. It's to get last place monies or second to last monies, or some of the races this year in the Cup Series, monies for 38th, 39th, and 40th. Now we have this other series. Are they going to merge with the K&N Pro Series East and West? I don't think so. I cannot see the K&N Pro Series East teams heading west, and I cannot see the K&N Pro Series West teams coming east. And both of those series are struggling with car counts. I don't know. I don't know if ARCA's there to replace them, and please don't be jumping off bridges. Look, I just bought a K&N car. What do you mean we're going to eliminate? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand the strategies behind this purchase. I don't understand what this is doing, unless their accountants sat in the room with the bean counters and said, you know what, you have billions of dollars here. You might want to spend some of it. And I see that could be a viable reason, because if they don't spend it, it goes to the government. They can't keep giving themselves bonuses and buying bigger yachts, and I say this to Fran's family and whoever else they filter it down to, so they have to spend it. And I guess that goes with, International Speedway. They can't build any more racetracks because who they're going to take away races from? They're not going to take them from themselves. And Bruton Smith at Speedway Motorsports, he's not giving up any racetracks. So, what's going to happen there? But it'll be interesting to see starting in 2020. Wow, that sounds like so far away. 2020, what ARCA is going to become. It should be interesting to see that. Anyway, more news out of the NASCAR families. Matt Kenseth, we all remember Matt Kenseth. He lost his ride to Trevor Bayne, and nobody picked him up, which I was kind of surprised with. But when you look at the caliber of driver today, I'm not saying that they're better than Matt Kenseth, but I'm saying they're young, they're immature, and they needed to work their way up. But anyway, Roush Fenway Racing announced last week that 46-year-old Matt Kenseth will drive the 6 car in select races this year. The first will be at the Kansas Motor Speedway on May 12th. Kenseth will share the ride with Trevor Bayne. And Bayne, the 2011 Daytona 500 winner, is currently sitting 26th in the points and has made it very clear to Roush Fenway Racing that he does not want to give up any races and he wants to run the full season. You're sitting 26th in points out of 36 charter teams. I'm thinking you needed to step the pace up or accept that somebody else is going to come in and and race some of these races and get the owner points. Because the owner points are totally separate than driver points. And if you remember correctly, in the NASCAR Weather Modified Tour, Mike Samiglio was the owner of the championship car. However, Eddie Partridge was the owner champion because on nights that his driver couldn't run, he had other people in the car. So it'll be interesting. And Kenseth is a champion. He's the 2003 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup champion. He has 39 career victories, and he's 20th on the all-time list for wins. And Jack Roush feels Kenseth will be a good mentor to his younger drivers, such as Trevor Bayne and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So it's a good deal. I think it's a good fit for Roush Fenway Racing to bring back Kenseth. I couldn't understand why they gave him the boot. I know Roush Fenway Racing was struggling financially, and people are going to say, no, they weren't. Yeah, they were. Look what happened to Bubba Wallace. He didn't have a primary sponsor. He's 6th in points, and they pulled the plug on the team. Everything fell in place for Bubba Wallace. He's with Richard Petty Motorsports, and he's doing okay. But I think this was big. I think that Roush Fenway was trying to seek a sponsor, and they looked at Trevor Bayne and these companies saying, we want a name brand guy. We want an experienced guy. Because I'll tell you what, if I owned XYZ Corporation and I was going to sponsor a Cup team, I don't want to hear about this kid that did good in some other development series. I want to hear about a guy who people talk about at work on Monday. So I want a seasoned, experienced guy with some wins under his belt. And that's Matt Kenseth. And with this announcement, it's also announced that Wyndham Rewards and Wyndham Hotels will sponsor the 6 car in select races. I'm thinking those select races are going to be races run by Matt Kenseth. So I'm glad to see Matt Kenseth back. He's one of those guys that I kind of rooted for. You know, as many of you know, I'm not a big fan of too many of the drivers. I have my favorites. Matt Kenseth was one, but my all-time favorite will be any person who drives the 43. I'm just saying, if my worst lifetime enemy, and I don't really have a lifetime enemy, but if a person that I could not stand in my lifetime became the driver of 43, call it hypocritical. That guy's going to be my favorite driver because I want to see the 43 in victory lane again like it did when I was a kid, when Richard Petty was winning 20 races a year, 27 in 1967. Those are the days, 7 championships. I wasn't a big Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan because I was a Richard Petty fan. I wasn't a Mark Martin fan. I wasn't a fan of the, all the Yarboroughs. I was a Richard Petty guy. His cars were nice, and and the rivalries with David Pearson and his group and Bobby Allison. That's what made racing good in those days. And I think NASCAR needs to take a look back at that. And they need to create some villains, and they need to create some heroes, because we're going to talk later on about TV ratings at one of their latest events in NASCAR in the Cup Series. And it's kind of sad when we talk about it. In fact, we'll be talking about that when we come back. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Dick, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Anyway, according to the Richmond Times, TV ratings for the Richmond race last week drew 1.3 million, with an M, 1.3 million fewer TV viewers than last year. Why? Why is that? Richmond, one of those semi-short tracks, mid-range type of track. It's not a super speedway, and it's not a Martinsville. It's a nice place to race. Been there. Put on a good show. Never saw a bad show at Richmond. So what's wrong with this? Is it because the broadcasting of racing is so saturated that I think there was like 5 hours or 4 hours of practice and qualifying the other day. I mean, you know, how many people sit there and watch that? I don't, and I only know because I'm one of these with my remote. I keep changing the channels, but to watch practice and qualify, to get a life, come on. You know, there's other things they could be showing. Show a modified race. Show a modified race instead of showing 4 hours of practice. This is why ratings are down. And there's no build up to it because you get up Sunday morning and you put on the NASCAR channel, whatever that channel is on your TV, and you get up and you watch and there's an hour of this guy talking and an hour of this and there's analogies and there's comparisons and there's like a tech show and they're all sitting around talking. Let's build up to it. You know, maybe Wide World of Sports had the right idea. They had a 90-minute show and 45 minutes of a 4-hour race. The start, few laps there, few laps here, a couple of wrecks, and then the last 25, 30 laps. It was exciting. How many people fell asleep watching Wild World of Sports? I don't think too many. How many people fall asleep watching these cup races on TV on a Sunday afternoon? Even people who have people over the house and they make food, you know, ziti, meatballs, whatever. Have a barbecue when it's nice out, throw some stuff on the grill. Somebody's falling asleep in a chair on the couch watching the race. Why? Because it's not exciting. The announcers aren't exciting. Jim McKay, Keith Jackson, think about when they were Wide World of Sports, Chris Economaki running up and down pit road with his thick glasses, you know, that reflect from the sun, you know, and then they'd create excitement. They'd say, oh, somebody just pitted for fuel and the pit window was 35 laps and there's 36 laps to go. Let's watch that guy. And you're like, oh man, let me watch that guy. No more, no. It's so cookie cutter now. You know, it's just not, I don't know. And you know what I would like to see, and people think I'm nuts. No pitting on the yellow. No pitting on the yellow. And I was at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut yesterday for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race, the Spring Sizzler. And somebody says to me, the guy just spun in the grass. There's nothing. He drove back on, the yellow comes out, he drives back on the track. 6 laps it took to start up. And this is why. Okay, I'm going to tell you, because I was in the town. I ran that as a race director. All right, Mr. Flagman, spin in turn 2, put it out. Puts it out, yellow flag. Boop, 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 boop. All right, now what happens? The caution car picks him up in the backstretch. He might miss him, so that's a whole nother lap. That's lap 1. Caution car picks up the field. Pit road's closed. They go by the pit road entrance. Open pit road. Lead lap cars first. Boom. That's 2 laps. Another lap. Lap cars pit next. Boom. Now because you can't change tires and fuel at the same time, they're making 2 pit stops. So that's another lap. 5th lap. Scoring, just making sure everybody's in the right line, right order. Boom. One to go at the line, Mr. Flagman. Boom. Green flag flies. 6 laps for a spin. Come on. So let's eliminate yellow flag pit stops. And it'll save 4 laps every caution. You want to pit, you pit on the green. It's that simple. Pit road's closed on the yellow. You want to make it exciting? Now the pit stops really mean something, because you're sitting on pit road and losing laps. Just a thought. Just a thought. Maybe that's why I'm not there no more. I don't know. But, you know, it's 22 figure. You know, you see things out of the corner of your eye, and you know, 22 figure, you got me. Anyone who watched races on Wild Auto Sports is over 50 and will fall asleep watching anything. Okay, I can't argue with that one. But yeah, but they need to bring Wild Auto Sports back on one of those old channels. But anyway, that's what happens in the Cup Series, in the Xfinity Series, Camp World Truck Series, K&M Pro Series, and the Modifieds. If you take a 200-lap race and have 7 cautions, you're going to have 40 laps under caution. I'm just telling you. And you go to a short track like Monadnock or Riverhead, quarter-mile bull rings, it's even more laps under caution, because you're doing the laps, you know, faster, you know, and usually at race speed you're between 11 and 12 seconds. And now you're under caution, and because pit road speed, even though they don't have a pit road, so it's a speed limit in the pits in the back, is like 55 miles an hour. So you're going almost as fast as the average speed anyway. So you're going to lose a lot of laps. Sometimes the yellow flag laps at Monadnock and Riverhead are 8 per caution. And think about it, you have 7 cautions or 8 cautions. You got 60 laps on the caution of a 200-lap race. And that's just for regular, normal, the guy spun up. That's not for wrecks where they're double hooking cars, or they got a big spill, a blow motor, or they got to do lap after lap to get this oil up. And today with the synthetic oils, the Speedy Dry that's used doesn't absorb it like it used to. Regular oils and stuff that from the transmissions, the motors, and the rear ends, back in the day, they used to call it oil dry / speedy dry, would pick up. The synthetics, it doesn't pick up. So you would think they would come up with something that picks up synthetic oil, absorbs it. You know, it's just some of the things to think about. You know, and drivers don't like to drive, because some tracks leave it on the track and they want you to drive through it. I don't think so, because now you're going into turn 1 and your hot melted tire, your right front, your right rear, it picks up all this junk, and it takes a few laps to get rid of it. But anyway, TV and racing today is not what it used to be. Not what it used to be. And I never thought I'd hear myself. When I was a kid, you hear old guys saying, it's back in my day, or it's not like it used to be when I raced. And I was like, I hope I'm not like that guy. Well, here I am, 60 years old. I'm that guy. All of a sudden, I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, that's TV ratings are down. And for those who say there's a lot of empty seats and nobody's going, for the next race that's coming up, just for giggles, go online and try to buy a ticket. And you're going to see there's scattered seats here and here and here and there, like it's almost sold out. People aren't going. Stuff happens. I have friends that go to the Daytona 500 to there a week. They go back to the hotel and watch the 500 on TV or on their computers. Just, you see more, it's better, you know, and it's kind of interesting how that goes and how it is. But anyway, we're gonna go to that. Talladega was this weekend, and it's one of those, everybody waits for the big one. So we have the results out of Talladega for the Cup Series. And It had the big one. We're going to talk about that. In fact, while we're waiting for the results to show, on lap 166 of the event, the big one occurred. Jimmy Johnson and William Byron got together, and at a turn 3, which triggered a 14-car wreck. 14 cars were destroyed in that, the big one. Get the restrictor plates off, a little more downforce, let the gas pedal and the brake do the job. But anyway, the results were they came up. I saw my left eye. We have, all right, the winner there, Joey Logano. There he is celebrating, getting out of the car. I'm going to talk about that picture in a second. Kurt Busch was second. Chus Elliott was third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was fifth. David Reagan sixth. Eric Almirola seventh. Alex Bowman eighth. Ryan Newman ninth. Daniel Suarez rounding out the top 10. Now, you see this picture here. He's out of the car, he's standing, he's all excited, woo, cheering, everybody's throwing stuff. When you pull into Victory Lane, and I was assigned Victory Lane at a few racetracks in my day as an official, and my job was to not let him get out of the car until TV was in place, the man doing the interview was in place, the trophy person, in this case the Monster Energy girls, were in place, and the guns that shoot the confetti were in place. And he would sit there. And then I'd get a thing, all right, we're coming back from commercial, which meant we had to wait for the TV commercial. And you know, you just want to race, you want to cheer, and you're sitting there. It's all orchestrated, folks. I mean, it's that raw emotion, yeah, he's still, yeah, I won the race. But he sits in his car for a good 4 or 5 minutes, just sitting there, can I get out now? And I'm like, no, you gotta wait, you gotta wait. But, I mean, it's still good anyway. I just bursted another bubble. I'll be bursting them all for the next few weeks. But anyway, that Joey Logano wins. And the Xfinity Series, we have the results there as well. We have Spencer Gallagher, the winner. There he is. And for those who are not familiar, that device on his shoulder is a Hans device, which the shoulder straps go over. There's hooks in it, a hook to your helmet. It's supposed to keep your helmet and your head attached to your shoulders. But anyway, Spencer Gallagher was the winner there. Benson Jones was second. Justin Allgaier third. Noah Gragson was fourth. Elliott Sadler was fifth. Ryan Sieg was sixth. John Hunter Nemechek seventh. Tyler Reddick eighth. Cole Custer ninth. And Garrett Smithley rounding out the top 10. Good race there. They don't have like the big ones like they do in the Cup Series, but I still think they should take the plates off these cars and let them run. There's ways to slow them down without restricting them, because this is what happens. You're running at 200 miles an hour, and you have not a lot of downforce, but some, and you could take a guy and put him in the wall without hitting him. And how can that happen? People say, well, how could that? The air does it. Now there's air, there's clean air. That's the air that's coming off the front cars, and it kind of, let's say, if this is the car, and we'll do it in which camera, and the air is hitting and it goes over here, and if there's guys behind them, it can't go down, so it keeps going over and over and over. And the last place car, the air then comes down like a wave, and it's pushing them. That's called drafting. And somebody just has to go out of line just a little bit. It changes the air. It changed the air. I remember watching a replay. Dale Earnhardt Sr. at one of the super speedways was behind the guy, bumper to bumper to bumper, boom, boom, boom. And he did this just a little bit, and he took the air off the guy's spoiler. And that guy got all squirrely, and he had to lift, and Dale just went shooting by. Nobody was better at the aero push than Dale Sr. And you look at that, you know what? The body styles that are being used today, I know they're supposed to match the manufacturer's specs. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, take the decals off the cars, like in the Xfinity Series with the Mustangs and the Camaros. Take the light decals off the car, and then paint them primer gray with no markings, and ask somebody, what's that car? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Because the specs are so crazy. Years ago, though, you knew Richard Petty's Plymouth, no matter what color it was. You knew David Pearson's Mercury. You knew Bobby Allison's Chevy or Buick when he switched to Buick. You could tell what the cars were. You knew what they were. You can't do that now. And the old adage, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, it's just an emblem. It's just an emblem. And young people today, they don't want a Camry. They don't want a Ford Fusion. I mean, I got one, but I'm not young. They want a status symbol car. You know, it shows they've made it. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But NASCAR has to realize, within the manufacturers in NASCAR, the car manufacturers, it's not like it used to be. There's no more win on Sunday, sell on Monday, because nobody's saying, oh my God, that Camry won, I think I'm going to go buy one. Especially a young guy. A young guy's looking at, oh wow, that's good, I think I'm going to go buy an Audi or a Mercedes or something like that. I was talking to my buddy just yesterday at the racetrack. He says, you know, you have these guys who have in their whatever you call them, midlife crisis. They want a Corvette. They want a Corvette. They want a sports car. They don't want these things that are racing. They don't want that, you know. But I don't know. NASCAR really needs to take a look at some of the things they're doing, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be crazy. And I'm going to respond to that 22 figure eight. And for those around the chat room, it says that the next thing you know is NASCAR is going to throw caution just for commercials. And before we go to break, I'm going to tell you a little story, true story. I'm in the tower for at the time, nationwide race, now Xfinity, and I'm sitting with the president of NASCAR. He's sitting next to me. And we're sitting there, we're a long stretch of green flag racing, and I get one of those. And because there's cameras, you know, that could broadcast, and so he kind of does this, he goes, we need a caution. I went, yeah, I know. So we need a caution bad. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm watching. And he says, we're going to have to make a caution. I don't know how we're going to do that. I controlled the lights. He hits the button for caution, which sends a signal to the flag guy, put it out. He says, we got debris in 2. I'm like, oh, I got to say it now. I got debris in 2. Clean up 1, go, big sweep, go, boom. I'm directing everybody, and now I get the binoculars. I'm like this. I see nothing. Nothing. I got the president of NASCAR sitting there. What am I going to say? All right. Now I'm watching on the monitor, which is over there, what's being broadcast to TV. I see the truck go, because it's the same truck every racetrack, the cleanup truck. I see the truck go. And I'm watching, I'm doing this, because it turned, the debris was over there. And I'm watching the monitor, again, watch him get out, and all of a sudden, there's a close-up of him picking up a piece of metal. Oh, what? And I'm looking, and the guy bent over, picked up nothing, gets in the truck and drives away. Okay, boom, pit road's open, boom, you go, lead lap, okay, show him one to go at the line, let's go racing. And I go like this, and he said, Mike Helton. I said, Joe, all we do is put on a show. That's what we do here. We don't care who wins. We don't care the outcome. But we got to pay for that. Now we have commercials and sponsors that paid for that. We got to get the commercials in. Because if we don't get the commercials in, they're not going to re-sign up. So 22 figure eight, I'm telling you, it's going to come. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming because commercialism of this sport is big now. Anyway, we come back. We're going to talk about the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, which was up at Stafford yesterday, and the K&N Pro Series each was at the Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia, when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8 Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Hey, I'm Raoul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Welcome back. NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour had race number 3 this season at the Stafford Motor Speedway up in Stafford, Connecticut, in an event called the annual Spring Sizzler, which has been going on for years and years and years. And I was in attendance at this event, and due to my foot situation and some other things, I was there as kind of like a spectator. I wasn't with the Wade Cole family racing team hopping over the wall, although when they saw me walk in, they were kind of excited that I was there. I want to thank Gershell Motorsports, Joe Bertuccio, and Fast Al Amarino for their hospitality, because it rained from the moment I got off the ferry at like 8 o'clock in the morning, right up to like 1:30, rain. And now it's going to be the never-ending let's dry the track and juggle around the schedule a bit. They usually have the pit party on the track. They really, in my opinion, it should be called a track party. But because of the weather and trying to dry the track, they had the pit party in the pits, and it worked out very well. And in watching the event, and I'm not talking about this as support divisions because I only watched 2 of their events, but talking about the modified race, and I'll tell you what, it's a good bunch of guys and gals racing in that series. There's a lot of respect. Some people are going to say, this guy wrecked me and this guy crashed me. And I'm going to say, as a former race car driver, and I finally admit it's a former race car driver, nobody goes to the racetrack saying, I'm going to wreck that guy. Nobody. What happens is sometimes you'll go into a corner too hard, you come off too slow, and you make contact, and with these tires, you're right on the edge, and stuff happens. And there were a couple of incidents where stuff happened. And maybe back in the day when I was doing this and when stuff happened with me, by me or to me, you kind of lose your head and go a little crazy, but you don't see that here. Because you got to race that guy at the next one. But anyway, we got the results here for the Spring Sizzler at Stafford. Ryan Priest, Xfinity driver Ryan Priest, driving a TS Haulers, Ed Partridge and Connie Partridge owned number 6 here from Long Island. Ryan Priest was the winner there, followed by Chase Dowling in second. Rowan Pennick was third. We had Patrick Emmeline fourth, who was led a good portion of the late stages of this race. Craig Lutz, they're talking about Craig Lutz, the Long Islander, who has now become one that they're talking about. John McKennedy and Tommy Baldwin's car came up. It was good to see Tommy. Got an opportunity to talk with Tommy Baldwin Jr. there. Matt Swanson was 7th. Justin Bonsignor 8th. Timmy Solimino 9th. Sean Salamino 10th. The pole sitter, Jimmy Blewett, finished a dismal 32nd after popping the turn 2 wall. I think he lost the tire went down. And he popped the wall, never made it back out. There was some carnage in the event. Some stuff happened, but I was gonna show the picture, but I didn't. But if any of you folks are out there and friends with Woody Pitcat, there's a picture, and I might even just bring it up later and put it on the 505 page. There's a picture. Woody Pitcat drives the 82 car owned by Danny Watts. Danny Watts is a former tour modified driver himself out of Long Island. On that fateful day in August in Riverhead, Ted Christopher was flying to Riverhead, and we all know lost his life. He was supposed to drive the 82 car that day. In fact, he had replaced Ron Silk as the driver for the 82. Now, Woody hit that wall a ton coming off at turn 4. And at the end of the day, somebody took a picture of that. And what you saw in the tire marks, in the damage to the concrete, you clearly saw TC13. And I'm going to post that picture on Facebook later. And when Woody Pitcat posted that on his page, he was like, wow. He goes, Ted's still here. You know, it's amazing. And I believe in that stuff. And I know people think I'm nuts, but I believe in that stuff. And that was Teddy's way of saying, I'm here. I'm at every race, guys. I'm at every race. And they'll wait at Heaven Motor Speedway till I get back up there. And I believe that. And it made me feel good to see that. Not that Woody crashed. God, I don't want to see anybody crash, but it made me good to see that. And it was interesting. Anyway, K&M Pro Series East was at the Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. Tyler Dipple was the winner there, followed by Anthony Alfonso. Tyler Ankrum was third. Dylan Bassett was fourth. Grant Quillian was fifth. Colin Garrett sixth. Connor Hall seventh. Chase Gaboret eighth. We had Chase Gaboret, Ryan Vargas ninth, and Ruben Garcia Jr. rounding out the top 10. And good stuff, good race. The K&M Pro Series could use some cars because it just seems that their car counts aren't as large as they once were. But anyway, it looks like I only have a few minutes left. So before I close up, I just want to fill everybody in. Our May 14th will be the anniversary show 350. Who would have thought? And as of today, confirmed people coming down is the K&M Pro Series East car owner of the IGA number 74, driven by Brandon Reynolds, Marie Visconti. So she'll be coming down. Well, we're gonna keep JV in the audience, and also from Como Motorsports, Glenn Sullivan. They have agreed to come. Roger Oxy will be here that day as soon as he can, and if he doesn't make that show or gets there a little bit too late, he will definitely be part of the part 2 of the anniversary show, which will be the following Monday, the 21st. So we have some good people coming down, and we have some invites that have gone out to people. It's going to be a fun day. I mean, you put Visconti and Sullivan in the same room, we're going to run overtime on that show. We're going to have to tape like a third segment, because I think it's going to be one of those crazy nights, as the Eagles say, those crazy old nights, and we're going to have a good time with it. But show 350, and it only happened because you folks log into the chat room, you're in the Facebook page, and watch during the week. So I thank you. And 22 figure, I'm glad I saw this before we wrapped up. And his question is, do figure eights still go last at Heaven Motor Speedway? No 22 figure eight The chief steward at Heaven Motor Speedway thinks the figure eights should go first so that the figure eights could sit back in the grandstands and watch the other guys for the first time in their careers. And I think that's how it goes. And when I get there, I'll let you know, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. And I'm sure when your time comes to go up to Heaven Motor Speedway, and I hope it's decades from now, you and I will no longer be crashing and banging each other. We'll be having our races, battling for wins, and then we get to sit and watch like we should have when as our kids grew older. Anyway, wherever your endeavors are going to bring you this week, please be safe, please be careful. Give somebody a hug, tell them you love them. God bless you all. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Good night.